For over 50 years, some people have insisted that the US never landed on the moon. Why? Because they saw a YouTube video that exposed the truth. Not radio signals, not moon rocks, not thousands of engineers. No, just a guy in his basement with Windows Movie Maker. So let's take a look at their evidence and see if it holds up better than the lunar module did during re-entry. Or, more realistically, let's explain why every one of these claims is nonsense. Ah yes, the classic "the flag is waving so there must be wind" argument. Except, there's no air on the moon. So what's actually happening? The flag isn't waving. It's moving because the astronauts just planted it and twisted the pole into the ground. And in the vacuum of space with no air resistance, that motion takes longer to stop. You can try this at home. Take a metal rod, twist it back and forth, and watch the attached fabric flutter. The flag was designed with a horizontal rod at the top to keep it extended, and since NASA wasn't about to send an ironing board to space, it ended up looking rippled. No air, no wind, just physics. No stars in the sky? Fake studio set. Or basic photography. Ever taken a picture outside at night and noticed you can't see stars? That's because the camera adjusts for the brightness of what it's focused on, in this case the lunar surface and the astronauts. The moon is super bright, reflecting tons of sunlight. The cameras had to be set for a fast exposure, meaning faint stars wouldn't show up. This isn't some deep conspiracy, this is how cameras work. If you don't believe me, go outside, take a photo of something well lit at night, and count the stars in your picture. I'll wait. Next up, the claim that the shadows prove studio lighting. Some say the shadows aren't perfectly parallel, so there must be multiple light sources. Here's the problem with that. Shadows on uneven ground don't behave like shadows on a flat floor. If you stand on a bumpy surface, your shadow will shift angles based on the terrain. And guess what? The moon is not a basketball court. Also, the moon's surface is highly reflective. Sunlight bounces off it, illuminating astronauts and objects from multiple angles, just like how you can still see things in the shade on a sunny day. That's not Hollywood lighting, that's how light works. The Apollo program employed over 400,000 people. Scientists, engineers, pilots, radio operators, and support staff. And we're supposed to believe that all of them kept this a secret for 50 years? Meanwhile, the Pentagon can't even keep a classified document from leaking onto Reddit. Conspiracies fall apart because people talk. But somehow, every NASA worker, every contractor, every Soviet tracker monitoring Apollo, nobody spilled the beans? That's not how humans work. Ah, the legendary Buzz Aldrin wouldn't swear on a Bible, so he must be lying. Theory. Let's get something straight. Buzz Aldrin is a trained astronaut, an engineer, and a pilot who actually went to the moon. He doesn't owe random people a Bible test. And when a conspiracy theorist harassed him and demanded he swear on a Bible, Buzz responded the way any rational person would, by punching him in the face. If someone ran up to you demanding you swear you're not a government lizard spy, would you take it seriously? No, neither did Buzz. The US and the Soviet Union were in a brutal space race. The Soviets tracked every American mission. If Apollo 11 was fake, they would have exposed it immediately. Instead, they congratulated the US. Why? Because they saw the data, listened to the transmissions, and tracked the spacecraft's movements. And unless you believe the Soviets were in on a joint Cold War hoax, which is somehow even less believable, then you have to accept that the landings happened. Oh, and let's not forget the moon rocks. Hundreds of pounds of them, studied by scientists worldwide. Independent researchers in multiple countries have analyzed them, confirming they're different from any Earth rocks. Did NASA secretly plant fake moon rocks in labs across the world? Doubtful. And today, high-resolution lunar orbiters from multiple space agencies, NASA, Japan, India, have all captured images of the Apollo landing sites. The footprints, the landers, the equipment left behind, still there. So unless every space agency on Earth is in on some grand conspiracy spanning decades, the moon landings were real. Period. So, let's recap. The flag moved because of physics. No stars, camera settings, shadows, uneven ground, and light reflection. 400,000 people? They can't all be lying. Buzz Aldrin, not here for your nonsense. The Soviets would have called BS. Moon rocks, studied worldwide, modern images, still proving it happened. The moon landing wasn't fake. But this conspiracy? That's the real hoax.